Hey guys, this is Miss Stam, and we are here for your last science novel day. We're going to talk about organisms and environments. We're starting with interdependence among living systems. So everyone make sure you have your notes and let's follow along. To start, we have succession. Now succession is a change in types of species present in a community over time, such as after a disturbance. We have two types of succession. The first kind we have is primary, and this is a process that begins with barren soil or rocks. There is no life. And then we have secondary, and this is when life returns. So with succession, what we're going to have first, we're going to see things like small plants, like weeds, these things that are hardy and that can come back, and they're pretty small and grow quickly. The grasses and the weeds are going to come first, and after that, you're going to see your larger plants like shrubs and trees that will follow. And there are certain organisms that are going to need to have these plants for food and shelter that will then return once the plants have returned. So we have different factors of competition during interdependence among living systems. The first we have is biotic. And remember that biotic refers to living things. Some example of biotic factors include food, competition. They may be competing for a mate or competing for food sources or shelter. Symbiosis, these are our relationships like parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism that we reviewed this week in class. And then we have predators and prey. We also have abiotic factors, and these are our factors that are non-living things. This includes things like light and water, habitats or space, temperature, soil composition, precipitation, weather, wind, water, things that aren't living but do affect the ecosystems. Now let's turn to our next set of notes, which includes biodiversity. Biodiversity is a really important word. It means biological diversity. Bio means life, diverse means different, so it's the richness and variety of life. It is the key to the preservation of a healthy world. We need diversity. So the more species we have, the more food there is available, and the healthy, stable ecosystem can be. The more producers we have, which means we have more food and oxygen. Remember, our producers are our plants. They take the sun's energy and use it to make their own food, and then we get oxygen from that. The more genetic diversity or differences or variety that we have, the more chances for adaptations and survival. If things are different, we can have that natural selection, so it selects for the adaptation that can help them to survive. So it gives the organisms a chance for survival. And the more ecosystems, the more adaptability, the more habitats, the more species. All of this lends to the variety of life. Next, we have something called sustainability. A sustainable ecosystem is capable of maintaining the current community at a steady level without exhausting natural resources or causing severe ecological damage. So what this means is that an ecosystem can survive it's sustainable if it's able to survive without using all its resources. And so these ecological processes that must be kept in balance, even during times of stress to the system, like natural disasters and other things, these include things like carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen cycles, evolution, food chains and food webs, population dynamics, and succession. So these ecosystems, they want balance. Everything is trying to maintain balance. We talked about in class how if you have one thing go missing from the food web, it's all connected. Everything feels the effects. We have to have these processes. We have to have this succession. We have to have these cycles in order for our ecosystem to survive. We also need to go over short-term environmental changes. So short-term environmental changes occur quickly and affect organisms immediately. Because the change is short-term, organisms can sometimes recover quickly. These are things like droughts, floods, hurricanes, and then volcanic eruptions. All of these things happen quickly. Sometimes we're able to recover fairly quickly, and then other times it takes quite some time to recover. But these short-term changes happen quickly. So genetic changes may occur in some species, and extinction of some species is a possibility. If you have a natural disaster, it can come in and cause extinction of a species. So on the other hand, we have something called long-term environmental changes. And our long-term environmental changes occur slowly over time, and they affect organisms over generations. So a few years may be short-term, but generations is long-term. So we have climate change and global warming, which are long-term changes. Greenhouse gases from human contributions are trapping heat from the sun, so we experience global warming. This is over generations. So these long-term environmental changes may result in a permanent change to an ecosystem. We may experience genetic changes across a population of specific organisms. Those organisms that can survive the change pass on their traits. This is all through that process called natural selection. And we have those adaptations that occur. Without adaptations, extinctions occur. So the survival of the fittest. You have to be strong to survive. You have to have those adaptations to survive. All right, this should get you caught up with your notes. And now what you guys are going to do is the biotic interactions drill and grill. Each partner should get 22 question cards. What you're going to do is you're going to ask your partner the question, but don't show your partner the answer. They should try to answer first, and you can help them with the correct answer after they try. Take turns drilling and grilling each other with these questions. All of the questions have to do with biotic interactions, things like parasitism, where one is helped, the other is harmed, commensalism, where one organism is helped and the other one is not affected, and mutualism, where both are helped, mutually beneficial. Also talks about things like being an herbivore or a carnivore or an omnivore, predator-prey relationships, and all of these things that we've been going over in class.